The senator from Illinois.
Mr. President, I want to thank my colleague from Wyoming. The most frequently asked question, no matter where I appear in Illinois or fundraising events, is why can't you folks get along in Washington? What's it like to be in a place where everybody's at one another's throats and you can't accomplish anything? Why can't you do things on a bipartisan basis? What is it like today, and how do you compare it to what it was a few years ago? And I say to him, you know, there are times when we do come together and do something important. This is one of those times, the Marketplace Fairness Act. It was a year ago. Senator Enzi led the fight on this. I don't know exactly when he started it, but I was happy to join in his effort when Senator Byron Dorgan retired. I called Mike, Senator Enzi, and said, I'd like to step in and help you with this bill. And he said, let's do it. We brought in Lamar Alexander, who really made some invaluable contributions to it. And then along comes Heidi Heitkamp, the new senator from North Dakota. Was she ever ready for this fight? Former sales tax commissioner in that state and a former attorney general. She knew this issue inside and out. She's been a terrific ally. So there are the four of us. What an odd grouping. 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats from literally all over the United States, and we worked together. And a year ago today, we passed this basic bill, Marketplace Fairness Bill. And the reason for passing it was just, look at the name of it, fairness. I think about 2 people when I think about this bill. One of them is the mayor of Normal, Illinois. His name is Chris, a great friend of mine and a terrific mayor. And Chris, in addition to being a mayor, runs a shop where he sells running shoes and bicycles and lots of running equipment stuff. So I visited his shop, great little shop, and he's a terrific business person. And he told me a story, which I've heard over and over again, about people coming in, picking out the bicycle, picking out the shoes. That's just perfect. Let me try them on. Let me get out and ride this. And then saying, I'll get back to you. And he never sees them again. They turn around and buy the product on the internet. So Chris is running a showroom as much as a business. There's no fairness there. And when those sales are made on the internet instead of in Chris Coos's shop, there's no revenue coming back to the city of Normal, Illinois, or McLean County. That's Chris's story, but it's a story of thousands, maybe millions of businesses across America who are losing out now to internet competition that is not collecting the sales tax that's supposed to be paid. Then I met another man, and I won't disclose the name of his company, but he's a major retailer in the United States. He came to visit me in my office in February or March, and he said, I want to tell you, in this last Christmas season, which is the biggest time of the year for my big box business, we had a downturn of 8% in sales. Based on our projections, we thought for sure we'd have more sales. We had a downturn of 8%. He said, I lost them to the internet. And Senator, I can't stay in business this way. I can't run a showroom for people who want to sell things on the internet. What we're talking about here is the basic collection of sales tax for purchases on the internet. In my state, in virtually all the states with a sales tax, there is a legal obligation to pay it. I didn't realize that until a few years ago. My bookkeeper was doing my family tax return for my wife and myself, and she called and said, Senator, do you want to pay the taxes you owe on purchases? And I said, yes, I think I want to pay the taxes I owe. And she said, well, how much did you buy on the internet? I said, I'll have to try to put it together. Called her back, gave her a number. She said, here's the calculation. On your state income tax return, we will declare that you're going to pay X dollars that you owe for sales tax, Illinois sales tax, for purchases you made on the internet. Well, I said, is that what I'm supposed to do? Yes, we did it. We've done it every year since. Turns out only 5% of Illinois taxpayers fill in that line on the state income tax return. I'm guessing more than 5% of the taxpayers make internet purchases. But folks don't know their obligation, they don't follow through on their obligation, and the losers are, of course, our state and local units of government. This bill says if Illinois, if Indiana, if Wyoming wishes, on a voluntary basis, they may use this bill to start collecting sales tax when it comes to internet sales into their state. It's voluntary. The states have to decide to do it. It's not a new tax. This has been said over and over. It's the existing sales tax, wherever it may be, in your state, county, or city, existing sales tax. And the bill provides if you are an internet seller, and have less than $1 million worth of sales in a given year, whether it's Grandma Donnelly's applesauce or whatever it happens to be, you're not covered by this. But if you have more than $1 million, yes, you have to collect the sales tax. Now, how do you collect it? First, the states have to provide you with the software so that your business doesn't run into the expense of how to collect it. And you say, well, I bet that's an elaborate undertaking. You can buy the basic software to identify the sales tax based on the consumer's address for about $15 for the basic package, or maybe a couple $100 at the most. But in this situation, the states are going to help the internet retailers in developing the software so that when someone makes a purchase from Chicago, Illinois, or Springfield, Illinois, whoever's selling to me on the internet will then forward that sales tax to the Illinois Department of Revenue. End of story. Just that simple. And what it does, of course, level the playing field for bricks and mortar businesses, provide a new source of revenue that should be collected and is owed legally in these states to the local units of government. We passed this with enormous support from the retail community, and it's not surprising. And it just wasn't the shop owners. It's people who understand the importance of this. This has been said over and over again. These bricks and mortar shops around America do so much more than just sell a product. They are citizens of the community, corporate business citizens in the community. They participate. When the local high school is having their graduation program and they want somebody to help sponsor it, they'll go down to the local sporting goods store for a helping hand on the program. And that happens over and over again, whether it's Corey League or Pop Warner, they're in there helping in the communities. Isn't it important and fair that they be treated fairly here? 69 members of the Senate thought so. Democrats and Republicans voted for it. Senator Enzi and I, Senator Alexander, Senator Heitkamp. We had 29 co-sponsors of this bill who sat down and said, let's pass it. We passed it. We sent it to the House of Representatives, and nothing has happened. Nothing. There have been some statements made over there, and I hope that those statements lead to action. But it's time for them to pick up this bill and this responsibility. If they've got a better approach, let's see it. Let's work on it. Let's do it on a bipartisan basis. Let's come up with an approach that works. I cannot tell you, Mr. President, how many different businesses have come through my door, from Sears Roebuck down to just basic mom and pop businesses, and said, what are we going to do about the House of Representatives? They won't take up this measure. Well, I hope they will. They still have time to do it. We've waited a year. I don't want to wait much longer. In an election year, it'll be almost impossible to do it. So I hope that we can get this done. It's going to mean that local businesses that are important and the backbone of our community are going to have the resources that they need, because the sales will take place that otherwise aren't taking place today, and local units of government will receive the proceeds from the sales tax that's collected. One of the major marketplace retailers on the internet is Amazon. Amazon may be the biggest, I think. They support this bill. And if you ask them why, they say, we don't want to fight this battle in 50 states and all the different cities and counties as to how much sales tax. Let's just make it uniform across the country. And that's what this bill does. So Amazon supports this. They're prepared to collect that sales tax and remit it to the states. They don't believe it's an onerous burden that they are going to face. I hope that others will join. I'm not going to take much longer. I think we've covered the subject well, and I thank Senator Enzi from Wyoming, as well as Senator Heitkamp from North Dakota, especially Senator Alexander from Tennessee for kicking this off. I ask unanimous consent to submit for a record add to the record after my statement this article by Donnie Etherly. Donnie is the president of P&E Distributors in Tennessee. He's also a member of the Alliance for Main Street Fairness Smaller Business Advisory Board, and he wrote an article on May 6th that is entitled, It's Time to Level the Playing Field for Main Street Businesses. And it's a good one. And it says in the simplest terms what he, as a businessman, sees this issue to mean. So let's get together. We did it in the Senate on a bipartisan basis with a big vote, some 69 votes. We can do it in the House of Representatives. Let's get something done this year that's going to help businesses across America be profitable and hire more people, put more folks to work across the United States.